I know, right? It's like 3, 2, 1. No, I get nothing. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday, November 9th, 2023, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin. I'm here with my dear friend, Dr. Erica Peabody, and we are here on Chiropractic Is Sexy. So what does that mean? I came up with this name, Chiropractic Is Sexy. We went back and forth on it a little bit, and I started to explain to Erica, because she was like, how'd you come up with that name? And I said, well, here's the thing. When you live a really great life and then you come into the chiropractor, we see so many incredible miracles happening. So you become happier, you stand up straighter, you have greater confidence, you do greater things in the world, you think better, you relate better to everyone around you. And what is more sexy than being an incredible human being? So there you go.
I know. I was like, where'd you come up with this? And then I was listening. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I think another part about the title is sometimes you have to shock consciousness in order to shift it. And I think that kind of gets people thinking like, what's going on over there?
We needed to get their attention. And of course, if you all remember from last week, whoever was on last week, thank you so much for being here for our inaugural launch of this podcast. And I had said that I was going to call it Two Hot Docs, but then the thumbnail looked like Two Hot Dogs. And I was like, we don't.
Yeah, not so much.
Not so much. So we figured there's the underlying tone of sexy, two sexy chiropractors talking how chiropractic can bring some sexiness to your life. So yeah.
I can't see. Are people on? I can't see.
Yeah. So you might have to just pull up YouTube on a side-by-side screen to see the chat.
Yeah, that's too complicated right now.
You can't see my no, you should be able to see my chat. Go on the left-hand side. You should see comments.
I see comments. I'm in private chat. Here we go.
And I
comments.
see your
Hi. Oh, you all are here.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm not new to this live streaming thing, but I am new to this particular platform. So got it.
Well, and I'm relatively new to StreamYard. I'm a fast learner. Gil, before I went onto Gil's channel a couple of weeks ago, he took me through a little tutorial, and I'm super grateful because I am loving this platform. I was using BeLive and Zoom, and this, oh my gosh, this is like all the things. So it's really super simple to learn. So again, much gratitude for Gil over at Camp Panton Family Compound and Gray Man Prepping. And he did drop the link, Survival Saturday. I will be on there this Saturday at 8 p.m. So please tune in for that. And you do have to be a subscriber. What's that?
Is that like the show Survival Saturday? What are you surviving?
We're prepping all the things, right? We have Devil Dog Prepper in the house. Hey, Devil Dog. Nice to see you. New to the channel. Sure appreciate it. The only thing I don't know is I can't necessarily do an @ and tag somebody. So I haven't figured that out here. I think I have to be out on YouTube to do that. But
I don't know how to add my channel in there, but
just go to YouTube to your page, copy and paste the link into the chat.
Your channel. Here we go.
Yep.
Whoops. Oh gosh. Oh, geez.
Double dipping the watch time. I appreciate that, Gil. Thank you so much. I know. I have friends who have videos. I've done this with yours too, where I just turn it on. Like if I'm seeing patients, I just turn it on and I let the playlist roll. So get you some watch time in there. So anyway, so we wanted to come in today because I think as far as, and there's Dr. Erica's link. So please go give her a follow or a subscribe. Sorry, I have to remember which platforms I'm on. Are we following? Are we subscribing? Are we liking? I don't even know.
So one of the things that we've always kind of shared, or we've started to share, but we always feel so strongly about is just being super approachable. So follow me there and then look up on socials too. And always feel free to reach out and ask questions behind the scenes or beyond the day or about the day or whatever. So we're always here.
Absolutely. So we decided that we wanted to, and which I think Eric brought this up to me, is I think it's good to do these intros and really remind people that our big job is to help people to recognize that they need to take more accountability for themselves and their own health. And we do that all day long as chiropractors. And there's so much that gets volleyed back and forth when it comes to attempting to get people to realize that there is no outside entity, hence your insurance company, or thing, other things in the world being forced upon you, that it's all about you and it's necessary for you to step in and take personal responsibility for all the things you are doing. So I'm going to volley that right over to you, Erica, because you had talked about that, and I think you probably have something that we can lead into this that's going to really launch this topic today.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I do want to just kind of soften it up a little bit and say, look how pasty white I am next to you. How are we? I got to figure this out. So I'm still in my office. I just came off my adjusting floor. And so I've been in 20 years in practice, Paula 25. And so we have a lot of just information of our days, experiences, miracles that we've seen every day, but also just a lot of, so what I'm hearing on a constant basis right now, and especially since the last 3 years and beyond, but this last 3 years in particular, is that people are like, wait, why am I having to find all of this health information on my own? Why didn't my doctor help me with that? Why didn't my OBGYN say this? Why didn't this and that and this and that? We're done with that. We're actually done with that kind of culture. And those that are staying the healthiest are the ones that are seeking their healthcare and their healthy habits and contributing to their health every single day of their lives these days. That's where true health comes from. Yes, you have to be your own health advocate. Yes, you have to keep asking the big questions, and we can't stop. But you have to realize the person you're asking the questions to, are they truly there for your health? What are their I don't want to say weapons, but what's in their arsenal to help them help you, for one? What machines, what do they have to help you? Make sure you're going, if you don't want drugs, radiation, or surgery, don't go to the people that offer you drugs, radiation, surgery, and ask for health. Stop doing that. We just have to stop doing it. And I got to tell you guys, you can hear it. It gets exhausting. It gets exhausting when I see new patients every single week and they're like, why didn't my blah, blah, blah tell me this before? Because it's your responsibility. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad you're finally taking your health into your hands. We're either walking around with a big Target red sign on our chest that says, nail me with any virus, bacteria, whatever you got, nail me with it. Or I've added enough to my internal resilience to be able to work with whatever this is that's going to bombard us, because COVID's not going anywhere. Cold and flu season isn't going anywhere. We're always going to be bombarded. But if you guys really look into the research of what viruses do, they actually upgrade us. They upgrade us. Every fever is an upgrade. Everything that happens to our body and our body gets to fight it is an upgrade. Upgrade. A lot of people right now are saying, thank goodness I'm sick right now, because I'm going to have some immunities going into this cold and flu season or sugar season or holiday season. I'm going to have fought some of that stuff already. And you're getting it. So I freaking love it.
I'm dropping that in the chat. Viruses upgrade your immune system. Did you all hear that? I want you to hear that loud and clear, because we have been conditioned to be so afraid of illness, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And that, people will just go prophylactically, meaning like just for pre-relief, take Advil, Tylenol, or something, right? Oh, I'm going to go golf, so I'm going to take 2 Advil just in case I get sore. What? How does that even work? Like, why are you not deficient in Advil? Allow your body to do what it needs to do. Or I'm going to go into a crowd of people, and so I'm going to take a couple of, Tylenol just in case, so I don't get a fever. Like, it's really such backwards thinking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, and Erica, I don't know how your practice has been, but everybody coming into my office the last 3 weeks has been sick. Mm-hmm. Sniffly, they don't know what they have. I've had people that have had COVID, and but they're laid out on the couch, right? So then as soon as they can, they get in here and we get them adjusted. Mm-hmm. And pre-COVID, if you were sick and you called my office and you're like, I'm really not feeling good, should I still come in? I'm like, hell yes, get in here, because we need to get you adjusted. That will boost up your immune system and help your body to fight this off. Mm-hmm. So it's so important to not be afraid of being sick, but fill your tank to a place that your body is going to be, none of us are bulletproof, but as bulletproof as possible. And so, and then don't be afraid. If you get a virus or a fever or anything like that, and you start taking drugs to suppress that, now you're just stretching it out. You're actually making things worse for yourself.
Yes.
So,
yeah, there's a comment in here, kids eating dirt have a stronger immune system. And I know that I spent my entire childhood outside. I was also getting adjusted, fortunately for me, since I was really young, not since I was born, but since I was like 1 or 2. And, but yeah, oh my gosh, I grew up on an orchard. So we're out eating dirt and our body's able to work with that and build things against that. In fact, it was interesting last night. I sliced my finger yesterday and it's already healing, right?
ouch.
Because my body's strong. I know. But my little tiny dog, he was licking that. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I should really let that yucky, picky little dog mouth on this cut. But it looks, it's on my middle finger, so I won't share. But I was like, I wonder what it's going to do if I just let him lick. But I'm thinking probably the enzymes in his own mouth or whatever. I don't know. But my immune system's strong, my body's strong, and I just trust it. So. And I was born and raised in the dirt, like we're not allowed inside. So,
and I don't know about you, but when I was a kid and I had an ice cream cone and I would be licking my ice cream cone and I would hand it over to the dog and the dog would take a couple of licks. How many people out there shared an ice cream cone with their dogs?
I still do.
I know. I'm like, I'm not afraid of that. And I think it's so, the dirtier we are, the better our immune system is. We cannot get away from bugs. We are 90% bug, right? We are trillions and trillions of bugs. And so we have to, stop trying to get things off of our skin and flush them out of our body. And it's crazy.
The gray man prepping says we used to have cow poop fights. Well, Paula, didn't you drink out of a cow trough?
I drank out of a cow trough. Yes. I think some of you saw that. I think some of you saw that video when I was down at Joel Salatin's farm at Polyface. And he said, he had a trough for the cows that was being filled with the well water. And if you saw this gorgeous, pristine landscape that no fertilizers, nothing, zero chemicals ever are on this land, and it is so lush that the grasses that the cows are grazing on are so thick and so lush, and it's all natural because that's how nature was designed to do it. So Joel, he invited everybody. He said, I'll put my microbiome up against anybody here anytime. And so he said, I'll show you how it's done. And he went over to the cow trough and he drank the clean well water coming into the cow trough. And I was like, I'm in on that. So I went and I drank from the cow trough. And what was interesting was I had been traveling and I was having a little bit of a stomach ache. And I went and I drank that water. And within a couple of hours, my tummy was fine again, right? So much good bacteria when you think about it. It was amazing. And man, that video got some hate on YouTube. I'm telling you.
Haters gonna hate no matter what. Haters gonna hate.
No kidding. Kenny says he'd still share an ice cream cone with his dog if he could. Yes. Kenny lost his puppy a little while back, so we know that pain. Sorry, my friend.
Probably stopping short of a cow trough.
Kenny would watch me drink from the cow trough. Yeah, there you go. That's okay. It was good. It was wonderfully clean water. It was amazing.
That's funny.
But also, I think this topic comes to what are the things that you are thinking that somebody else, again, and I'm going to say insurance because I accept insurance. I'm actually about an inch away from not accepting insurance because of the fact that people get so they expect, I have 12 visits. Okay, can I come in once a month then for a year? No, you can't. You have a train wreck of a history and you want me to get you well, and 12 visits isn't going to do it. And I liken this to if you want to live a healthier life, how many healthy meals do you have to eat before you're fine and you have to stop? Or How many times do you have to brush your teeth before you no longer have tooth decay and you never have to brush your teeth again? So chiropractic, this is why we wanted to have these conversations, because it is part of a lifestyle. And when you look at all of the pillars and, healthy eating and movement and breathing and thinking, and I'm sure there's some more in there, but we really want to encourage people to live all of the pillars. And somebody asked me on one of the podcasts I was on, what if somebody can't afford chiropractic care? And I said, go to my channel, look at the videos, adopt that information. That's all free information on how to live a healthy life. Start there. And then I promise you'll be able to add in the chiropractor, because you're not going to be doing the things that are costing you money by buying hyperpalatable foods that are highly processed, that aren't serving you well, or just, all of the daily things that people purchase. Then they're like, I can't afford to eat healthy.
Right.
So it really and know your insurance. Is it, insurance should really cover. I've had people say the silliest things to me. Insurance should cover, a certain amount of groceries. No, that's called EBT. That means you're living below the poverty line and the government's giving you money to buy your groceries. It's no one's responsibility to, and then even if you are on, getting government funding for your food, guess what? You can still go buy pop and chips and all kinds of garbage. So no, we need to just stop this nonsense of it's somebody else's responsibility.
Well, you talked about the pillars. So just to review them really quickly while everybody's here. And, we as chiropractors kind of take these for granted. So eat well, move well, think well, get your rest, get your water, and get adjusted. So those 6 pillars. And then people say, well, what am I supposed to eat? I'm like, already what you're supposed to eat. Well, how much am I supposed to move? How much water am I supposed to drink? How much am I supposed to sleep? You guys, we all know these things now. We don't have to go to a healthcare provider and figure out how much they're going to say you need to eat of what. Get some nutritional help if you need it, but we don't need to ask them how much we need to sleep. This is all becoming, and actually probably over the last few years, it's becoming forefront of everybody's mind. Oh, these are the things, okay, kind of catching on. These are the things that that I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm supposed to be eating, that I'm supposed to be drinking. This is how much. People are really catching on to that. But just stop asking for permission and stop asking for those answers to the stuff you already know. Stop using your energy to ask those questions and start using it to make it applicable. Just go do the thing. Go do the thing.
Yeah. Now's not the time to do less.
Yeah. And I always tell my patients, if you're reading labels, you should be able to look at something and say, this is an apple. I don't need a label for this sucker. I already can see this is an apple. This is a piece. This is some lettuce. This is a salad. This is a piece of salmon. This is whole foods like that don't need labels. If you're reading labels, you really need to question what you're doing, because that used to be the hot thing back in I don't know, that early 2000s through probably 10, 15 was label reading. Do away with the label reading. You don't need a label for the stuff that we really should be eating. And I said, what did your grandparents and great grandparents eat? Eat that. Yeah. What one of my mentors says, if it walks on land or in the garden, grows in the garden or swims in the sea, that is going to be good for you to eat. If it is in a box, or if it's made in a plant, then it's a no. And that doesn't mean that I do everything 100%. I don't, for sure. But I do know what I should be doing, and I choose that a huge majority of the time. So,
and it's such a great point, because I think we've talked about this too, where a lot of people look at us and they go, you probably never eat anything bad, I mean, I would probably say 90 to 95% of the time we're making good choices, so that when I do have my Cape Cod 40% reduced fat kettle chips with my, crack dip, I mean, it's so freaking good, that I might have once every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I have a guilty pleasure, right? I have cravings, but I don't have cravings that derail my health.
Right.
And I think that's really what we're trying to get here, is what are all of the things that you can put into place. And Erica, to your point that you just talked about, is what to do.
You do.
And I've often said, You also know what not to do. So, the last couple of weeks, I touched on that Harvard study that said that you're 60% more likely to get type 2 diabetes if you eat meat. And this was, this long-term study that was like, basically it was just an observational study, and it's completely bogus. And and without going deep into that. So now people are confused and they're saying, oh, well, I shouldn't eat meat, right? So one day meat's good for you, one day the next day it's not. There's no question that Doritos are not good for you, right? So if you're confused about meat or eggs are another one that gets villainized too. But when you start to get confused about what is being reported on the news for food and what you should be eating and what you should be doing for sleep and for rest, then but you need to just put the microscope and, doesn't mean you just go, okay, screw it, I'm not going to do anything. And you go sit on the couch and eat a bag of Doritos and a bottle of pop. Can't do that either. So don't make the excuses of, I don't know what to do, because you know what not to do. And if you know what not to do, you can fill that with high quality fruits and vegetables, good quality meats, fish, and that's what's going to help to start to move the needle for you.
Yeah, for sure. I was just came off the adjusting floor right at 1:00 when we got started. And I was deep in this conversation with a woman where she works in the dental field. So she, nothing really going on negatively, but she's like, I have a really hard time believing how many drugs each person that comes in is really on. And if they're questioning whether they need to be on them or whatever. And we don't have to go into the medical side of things at all, or drugs are bad or good or anything like that. But one thing I said to her, I'm like, listen, if we really boil it down, an egg and a sperm came together and made this incredible vehicle that we get to walk around in. And then the natural laws of the body is how we get there. And then adjusting into it is just a way for the communication system of the entire vehicle to work better, more properly, and be able to but I'm like, an egg and a sperm came together and made this. Make your filter that. Make your filter how incredible we are, how powerful we are, and how great of healers we are. And then get on board. She's like, I love the approach of chiropractic. She's new into the practice for the last 3 weeks. And she's new here, but she's like, I love your approach to health and to really taking care of yourself. You're not trying to give me anything. You're just trying to make sure that, the stored torqued body is able to release and turn that potential stored energy of the stresses in life and turn it back into kinetic energy that moves life. Anyway, An egg and sperm made this thing. That's effing incredible.
That's actually I say that all the time. I'm like, when you think about life and how perfect life is and how perfect the body is, that the two cells came together and multiplied to do this. It's so crazy, right? And you guys, listen, why are chiropractors so passionate about taking care of the nervous system? Because it is the first thing that forms in utero. If the nervous system wasn't important, it would not be the first thing that forms. It has to form in order to then control and direct all of this perfection, your eyes being your nose, your all of it. That is the first thing that forms. So, we know that, we recognize that, that is our foundation, and that we want everyone to understand how critical their nervous system is to every single thing that they do in life. And it is the lens through which we experience life. And if it is dim, I was trying to think of how could I turn the lights off? I thought it would be really, powerful if we both sort of came in with the lights off and you could kind of hardly see us. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, oh, wait, is there something wrong? Oh, and then we turn the lights on, because that's ultimately what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Is we're turning the power on in the body, right, to allow your body to then see better signals, hear better signals, and be able to have a greater capacity for self-healing.
Right. Well, one of the things is if there was a dark room, just to piggyback on top of that, if there was a dark room, you can't pull the darkness out of there. Like you literally have to turn on the light. And our health works like that too. You can't go in fighting. There's certain scenarios, yes, emergency medicine, thank God for that. You can't go in fighting illness. All we have to do is continue to build health. Like you have to continue to add every single day those 6 pillars, and then adding, adjusting in, and adjustments bring the light into the body. And it's through the nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. Somebody said the other day, they're like, nervous, like, what does that mean, nervous? So I use the word nerve system, even though nerve and nervous, I don't know, it has kind of like, I don't, it's the Wi-Fi signal of the entire body, or the telephone wires of the body, however you want to do it. But the brain is putting messages out, and it's also taking even more messages back in. And if there's interference along the track that it's trying to do that in, it just doesn't allow for full force, for life force. And then when you get down that chronicity of it for long enough, your body's going to start symptoms, but symptoms are the end road. Like symptoms are the last. Yes, I have headache, neck pain, low back pain. Okay. Well, I fell like 18 months ago, or I got in this major car accident 2 decades ago, or, this is their first visit with chiropractic, but it's like these symptoms are our body's signals of saying, hello, do something, please.
Yeah. And also keep in mind that only 10% of the nerves in your body detect pain. Mm-hmm. So that's really, really important. Somebody's coming in my back door. I don't know, maybe my water guy. But that's really important to understand, because when we think about, I just recently had a cousin diagnosed with multiple myeloma. We thought it was stage 4 pancreatic cancer at first, metastasized to the bone. And a lot of these processes, this cancer was attacking places in his body that don't have pain receptors. And so it's not until it builds up to a level that ultimately creates a devastating impact on your health that then you actually then start to get some kind of symptoms. I have pain, I don't feel well. I have pain, I don't feel well, and maybe I'm tired. I've got, so you start getting all of these other random things going on, and then come to find out you have cancer eating away at your bones, mm-hmm. right? But how long did that take to manifest? Long time. Yeah, long time.
And the other thing about some of those chronic diseases like that is we don't walk around and catch cancer from other people around us. Like we're constantly building and growing.
Maybe put that one.
There you go. Hi, dog.
Devil dog. Yeah, there. Everybody's saying hi. Yeah,
that's funny. So we're growing that stuff. We're doing that by the choices we make, lifestyle choices that we make. We can have a predisposition somewhere, but for the most part, a lot of those kinds of things, we're not going around and catching them from other people that we're around. Chiropractors, none are able to fix me.
Well, and I want to talk about too. I had an interesting experience yesterday, and this is where Dr. Erica was saying earlier about when you go to a medical doctor, that they only have so many tools in their toolbox, mm-hmm. and their toolbox is this big. Their thinking is so incredibly myopic. Mm-hmm. And this is what gets me, is that they don't even have the capacity to then be reasonable and say, you know what, it doesn't fit here. But maybe if you tried to go this, maybe you went to a chiropractor or whatever the case may be, that if it doesn't fit here, all they want to do is give you a drug and say it may or may not work, which was my experience yesterday. And I want to tell you guys about that briefly. Is I've been having this like little drumming in my ear. So I went to an ENT. And I just wanted to make sure, like, was everything okay? Like, and I had a conversation with a former patient who called, and he's got some tinnitus, and dizziness and vertigo. And I said, listen, if you're really, I almost said scared, if you're really afraid, go to the ENT, get it checked out, make sure everything's fine. Like this has been my philosophy, is that if something is you're really feeling like something's off, go get it checked just to make sure, like, is everything okay? But don't go down the path of that treatment, right? Because then the treatment was, so I go in there and this guy, he comes in the room and he's holding my chart and he walks in and he throws it down on the counter and he's staring at the chart and he says, so what is this you have? I mean, where, how long has it been going on? And he's staring at my chart. He did not look at me. He didn't greet me. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't make me feel warm and welcome as a brand new patient in his office. That right there, if we did that as chiropractors, we wouldn't be in business. And when you come into our offices, you are greeted with open arms. It is warm. It is welcome. You get smiles. We get genuine concern for who you are, what you're doing. What are your grandkids doing? What trips did you take? How are you feeling? How is your life going now? Like, we truly care about our patients. And it is just mind-blowing to me that you can go in to a doctor's office like that and be treated like that. But that is the norm. That is the absolute norm. And so people don't think to go anywhere else. And at the end of it all, he wanted to give me a steroid spray for my nose. And he must have looked at my facial expression. He goes, well, I mean, but if that doesn't work for you, I could give you some antibiotic, whatever, again, a drug for my nose. And I said, if you think it's just inflammation from congestion, I said, okay, I'll do silver spray and I'll take quercetin. Quercetin's natural antihistamine, and silver spray helps to calm the mucous membranes. And he's like, well, I mean, and he's literally scoffing at me. And then he goes, I mean, all right, you got me. What is this? What are you talking about? And I go, I wanted to punch the guy. And I said, yeah, silver spray. It helps. It's an antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial. It's all natural. It helps to continue, maintain the biome in the mucous membrane so it doesn't destroy anything, much like the steroid spray that you're suggesting I take. Well, it doesn't help with inflammation. And I go, oh yeah, there's thousands of studies that actually prove that it does. So yeah, I would be more comfortable taking that and the quercetin, which is natural antihistamine. And then he pulls out his pad and he goes, just take this. I mean, this guy, and he hands me the thing and he goes, I mean, you could take it with whatever that was you were talking about. And he goes, I mean, it may work, it may not. I mean, it might work sooner, but it might not. But I mean, I would take this. The drug. Give me the drug that may or may not work, but sit there and scoff and insult me. And then as I was walking out, I said to the lady at the front desk, I said, is he always this cranky? And she's like, what happened? And I said, well, he walked in the room, didn't look at me, didn't introduce himself, didn't welcome me to the practice, made me feel like complete dog shit. And the other lady came up and she was like, oh, the hospital's blowing up his phone because whatever she said. And the other lady's like, that's no excuse to have treated her like that. And I go, bingo. And I walked out. So, and I took the prescription and I crumpled it up and I threw it in the garbage. I was like, so anyway, just to say, like, that's all they have. They have this tiny little box, right? And yet, like, he could have said, wow, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. Or could you get me some information? I'd like to learn more about that. So no, but their egos get in the way. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was my rant about yesterday. And there you go. Yep, this is all he knows. Can't ask questions nor give anyone else the benefit that, they might know more than him, right? So.
Yeah, and I think that, you were just there to make sure. I think when, people go in, they're looking for an answer, but I think you were coming from a different perspective than what he's used to, which is, let me just make sure that there's nothing major going on. Then I'm going to go home and I'm going to go back to my own toolbox and figure out what I can use out of my own toolbox. But people do want answers when they leave there. So he had to give you something. He didn't need to have that kind of attitude. And like you said, if that was in our, I mean, I think most chiropractic offices, and I would be curious if anyone's had like terrible customer service somewhere. We just are caring people and have staff to support us in doing that. So it's super unfortunate that that was it. But he could have just said, yeah, I don't see anything super major. Okay, go about your life, or what are you thinking? But
Well, and he was asking me questions, and I was attempting to engage in a conversation to give him feedback. And then he kept going like this. Like if I didn't have a one-word answer for him, he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not how we take care of humans.
Right.
This is not how we take care of humans.
So I see 7, 10. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is how people end up sicker, because they don't know any different. And they're like, okay, well, he said it may or may not work. I might as well.
Right.
And then they take it because you're desperate. You're looking for answers.
Right. So for Devil Dog, I was asking, where are you located exactly?
I think you said Ohio. You're in Ohio, aren't you? Did I see you say that earlier?
Well, that's a big state. So let us know where exactly.
Somebody said they're from Ohio. I'm scrolling back to see.
Yeah. So just let us know where, or reach out in a different manner, email or somewhere else. And we'll see if we can find something. It's really hard to say. I mean, that sounds like a really intense situation that you were in. And the one thing that I always tell patients is like, it's really, so they'll leave a chiropractic office and come to me, or I'm sure it happens the other way as well, is that when you you say you've been to many different chiropractors.
Oh, he's in Toledo.
Okay. We'll have to figure out who can help there. So it's hard to say exactly what's going on. And what I tell patients is that, if you had a bad chiropractic experience or something that didn't work for you, I look at it like if you loved pizza and you went to a bad pizza place, you wouldn't stop eating pizza. You would just find a different pizza place to go to. And that's just kind of an overgeneralization, but I think it's important to, no matter what else you're doing, if you're looking for a chiropractor, no matter what else you're doing, adding chiropractic in is, I would say, close to, I don't know what percentage this is, but close to 100% always going to be helpful as well as whatever else you're doing. So.
And let's address, so Devil Dog, you have been to multiple chiropractors and haven't been able to find somebody yet. Can I just post that again? Okay, so I'm going to tell you, so first of all, I want to ask, and we don't have to answer this here. I don't want to reveal anything in particular about your history, but these are things that I would be asking is, what are your expectations? Did the chiropractor lay out a long-term plan for you? Because this is not a scenario that is going to be 2 to 3 visits and you're going to be fine. The other thing, and I know how Dr. Erica practices, she and I both would say this is a ridiculous amount of mental and emotional trauma, and that we need to figure that out. And I would probably be doing something more on the lines of meditation, hypnosis, or something, because you are carrying this trauma in your tissues. And oftentimes, and I mean, we both have had people in our practices who were abused as children, or, an abusive relationship. And we cannot get the stress out of their tissues, because if your brain compartmentalized that, or if it processed it at all times, your brain would explode, right? So the body has to put those stressors into the tissues. And that's why stress is like the number one cause of heart attacks, because of how much stress it puts into the body. So the body can only handle so much. So I would just ask you those questions. You've been to many different chiropractors, but what was your expectation? Did they lay out a plan for you? I would say if you went to a chiropractor who said, just come and see me when you're in pain, that's probably not the right chiropractor. This is a very long-term issue. Erica, would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, health is multifaceted, like we had said. And And back in the day when chiropractic was first developed, there is this idea that there was one cause and one cure, which is getting adjusted. But that was in a day and age where there wasn't all these other kind of stresses that we have. And when our bodies can't integrate whatever that stress was. I mean, I can't even imagine what that experience was like. I can only make it up in my mind what to be shocked and then thrown, not shocked, but like stunned and then thrown and whatever. Working with probably nutritional support for for the brain and emotions and whatever, but also getting into it's so multifaceted. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's chemical. And that's always the four things that we're working with in our practices, which create the work that we need to do to help with that. But physical, mental, emotional, and chemical, it's all of those things. And so we can address some. And I mean, was there a fracture of the spine? How
Concussion?
did you, how did you land? Have you had, who knows? So it's hard to answer that over here. But if you do reach out, to either of us, it would be really great to know a little bit more. And I do only have like 3-ish more minutes. So I always have to cut this just a little bit short. I got to get home to my baby puppy.
That's fine. Yeah. Well, so I think this is also a great topic for next time is that would you guys like us to talk about what should you look for in a chiropractor?
Yeah.
How do you find a chiropractor? And, I just had this conversation the other day with a new patient who came in, never been to the chiropractor. Her daughter strongly recommended, and she came in and she's had a lot of stuff going on. She's 60, 62, but just has some really deep rooted cancer a couple of times. And I said, you're going to need to be, this is a 5-month plan.
Yeah.
Here's how many visits. This is what it's going to cost. And she was like, oh, she goes, I wasn't expecting that. And she said, but I don't know what I was expecting. Right. And I said, okay. And maybe that was a question I should have asked up front, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I should probably ask that more often. But then we came out and I have this block time. So I see new patients at a particular time. So then all the patients for the next hour were starting to filter in. And I said, meet so-and-so. I said, he's been a part of this practice for many years. And then another patient walked in and I'm like, oh, and meet. So I wanted her to feel warm and welcome, to know that the people that are here are long-term people. Mm-hmm. And I did tell her straight out. I said, if you want to come in once or twice, I go, I'm not your girl. There are places you can go to that will allow for that, but I'm not your girl. Mm-hmm. So
I can see Devil Dog answered. I find your contact information. So that was never on a plan. It was just an appointment filler. So I think that's probably in the show notes, you can connect with either of us on social media and if you're in the Toledo area, between one of us, we'll even reach out to our colleagues and figure out. But what we often find, I find myself doing, even for the people that go down to Florida, like when they're here for the months that they're here, they go down to Florida, I'll often call ahead and say, how do you practice? What's your office like? Like I'll have a conversation with that office before I'll send them there. I'll look through their website or whatever before I'll give a recommendation, unless it's somebody that we know personally. Devil Dog, go ahead and just reach out to one of us and we'll figure out if there's somebody. I can't think of somebody. Oh, you know what? I do have somebody down there. And she's really great. We'll help you figure it out. But if you haven't been on a plan and you've had that kind of a trauma, it's probably like you'll need care. So,
And we'll get you in the right, and we'll get you in the right place. And another thing too, if people go to an area or from an area looking for a chiropractor, I'll say to them, send me the names of 3 people. Yeah. And then I'll look at it. Because there's certain things that I look at as chiropractors. Again, somebody might pick a place like the Joint or the Fix. And again, nothing wrong with those places. They're just not how Dr. Eric and I practice. Right. Those are the places you can walk in. They're cheap for a reason. You want to walk in, just get one crack and be out and not go back for 6 months. it's not a part of our long-term health plans and our goals to help people get well. So, but again, there's a place for those places, right? And so if you were to send me 3 listings and one was the joint and one was the fix, I would take a hard look at the third one and then say, maybe send me 2 others that aren't those. Right. So that's how we're going to help you.
Yes. Yeah. So reach out to us. I can think of, I have a good friend there, but I know Toledo's kind of big. So exactly. Yeah. Dealing with it for
sure.
Years. All right. I'm going to run just cause I got to respect this time today.
Okay. If you want to run, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. And then
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just expect us here weekly, and then it will be put out on just an audio podcast as well to be able to review and
let others know. Go ahead and share this.
Yeah, share it out.
We love chiropractic. We just want more people to know about chiropractic.
Guys,
so we're going to let her go. I'll sign off for you guys. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for being here. And I'm going to drop my email right here in the notes so that if you have any topics, any comments, questions, anything you'd like us to discuss, this is what we're here for, because a lot of people have questions about chiropractors and they're afraid to ask. And so Dr. Erica mentioned initially that we want to be very approachable. We want to be very transparent. And so that's why we're here. We want you to be educated to a point that chiropractic becomes one of the pillars in your life that helps to improve your overall health and wellness. So please make sure you share these podcasts out. Dr. Erica did say we're going to be putting out the audio. I don't have the technical wherewithal to do that just yet, but because we're a podcast right here on YouTube, that should be pretty simple to just strip out the audio and put it up onto the podcast. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Erica's channel. Also, don't forget, I'm going to be on Gray Man Prepping and Campanton Family Compound this coming Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking more about how to prep your health for the winter. So have an incredible rest of your day. Thanks again for everybody sharing your lunchtime with us, and we'll see you Saturday and then next week. All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye. Thanks for being here.